Hello everyone, I'm Sucheta Chaurasia from Swan TV, and today we are standing outside the house of Dylan Thomas, the renowned Welsh poet and writer, and today we'll have a look inside his house where he spent the majority of his lifetime. Dylan Thomas was born on 27th October 1914 in the house number 5 of the Cumdonkin Drive in Swansea. We are in conversation with Mr. Geoff Haden, the restorer and curator of the Dylan Thomas house.
The house was a new house when it was bought by the Thomas family in 1914. They moved in August, and Dylan was born in the front bedroom on the 27th of October. They lived here for 23 years, and Dylan wrote 2/3 of his published work while living in the house. I think as a cultural icon, this house is the most important house in Swansea. If not in Wales, this is a house that the most well-known of Welshmen lived for 23 years, and in his tiny bedroom upstairs produced 2/3 of his published work. I think that's something to worth reflect on. Between the age of 15 and 19, he produced a huge body of work, as much as most produce in a lifetime, and I think that's something that needs to be seen in that context.
We had a delightful conversation with Mr. Haden, who then took us on a tour around the house. We saw the front room where Dylan Thomas was born, the room of Nancy Thomas, Dylan's sister, who was 8 years his elder, his parents' room, which had a beautiful view from the window, the living area, which was the hub of the house, the front parlour, which was mainly reserved for visitors and events like Christmas, and also the little kitchen. It was perhaps Dylan's very own room that, quite literally, had the most stories to tell.
So we're now in Dylan's little bedroom. This is the smallest room in the house, often the toilet of course, but it's a room where he was able to work. Close the door in this room and you're cut off from the rest of the world. Dylan described it as a small room, so small that you have to go outside to turn round, big enough for a bed, a desk, a chair, and a view of a plain wall opposite. Everything in here either Dylan refers to or his friends refer to. So there's lots of things in here. There's pictures on the wall of his favourite authors and favourite people, including Greta Garbo, who was a big favourite of his, as he was a fan of film from a very early age, books, letters, sweets. He was very keen on sweets, particularly boiled sweets, and cigarettes. He used to smoke cigarettes, and he would like to cultivate that image of a smoker. He talked about having a conscious woodbine stuck in his mouth all the time, and that was something that he saw as being what journalists did, was to smoke, to drink, and he used to wear a checkered overcoat and a pork pie hat. Again, what he felt was the right image for a journalist in the 1930s.
Besides Dylan's own bedroom, there is another room in the house which holds a great significance.
This is Dylan Thomas' father's study. It's, I think, probably the second most important room in Dylan's life. It's a room where Dylan's father brought him from the age of 4 and read Shakespeare to him, so Dylan understood words, the love of words. This is really all developed. Then later, when he started to read, his father allowed him in here to read all his books. And his father had all the modern authors, the traditional authors, the traditional poets, and Dylan devoured all this work. I think anybody who comes to Swansea must come to this house. It's a must place to come to. There are lots of other Dylan Thomas places that people can go to. There's the Dylan Thomas Centre, which has an exhibition about Dylan. But just across the road from here is the most fascinating place, and that's Cumdonkin Park. And that's a park which Dylan described as being a world within a world of this sea town. and it was his place to escape.
With a huge body of work in his rather short lifetime, Dylan Thomas has written something for everybody. Years after him, his legacy continues in his little house in Swansea.